Hi, this is Jennifer, your course facilitator again. I'm going to show you one other thing this morning, and this should be fairly brief. I'm just going to show you how to take your audio recording on your timeline, clip out a piece of it, and place it into a different spot on your timeline. Sometimes you might find that one sentence you stated would be better placed someplace else, and that's what this video is to show you how to do. So I'm going to record some audio to place on my timeline here. To do this, I'm not going to use the record the screen button this time. Instead, I'm going to use my voice narration tool. You might find that this is just as useful for you as you go on through Camtasia as using the record the screen button. It just depends on whether you need to have that pause button handy, if you need to include your system audio, things like that. So this is just a simple voice narration tool, but you can still cut your audio file and do things with it once it's placed on the timeline. So first I'm going to check my audio setup wizard just to be sure I've got the right mic, and we're going to go with the microphone here, the Plantronics mic. That's the one that I need. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say next, and I'll go ahead and finish here. I'm now ready to start recording, and I'm going to record some of the same sentences you've heard in other videos, and then we're going to play a little bit with what I recorded. So let me go ahead and start recording. When you were young, didn't you love stories? Maybe your parents read to you each night. Maybe your teacher read to you in class. Maybe you loved to watch Sesame Street with story after story going on. How can we help our children in this digital age to have the opportunity to develop stories of their own? One great way is through ThingLink. Children today still love stories, and in fact they need stories. Okay, I'll stop right there, and I have to save the wave sound file that is produced here, and I'm going to just call it sample wave. You could call it whatever you want, and I'm saving it to my desktop. Before I do anything else, just to make things tidier looking, you can see the wave file showed up on track 3 because I'd been working inside this interface a while. I'm going to drop it down into track 1. And I'm at time 0. So when I start playback, when you were young, first off, I've got quite a hesitation here before I actually say anything. So I'm going to, using the tool that I showed you in the previous video, I'm going to cut out a little bit of this intro silence. And I'm going to cut out maybe a little over a second of this, just so I don't have so much of a pause at the beginning. As I showed you before, start at 0. I take this little red thing here on the head, drag it to where I want to end this cut, hit cut, and now you can see I've got a lot less of a pause before I start speaking. So I start playback. When you were young, didn't you love stories? Okay, I keep going, and there is an area in here where I actually want to change my positioning. I start one paragraph, when you were young, didn't you love stories? The next paragraph I say, how can we help our children? And the next paragraph I say, children today still love stories. I really want my second paragraph to begin with that children today still love stories. Now I know that's toward the end, and to find it, basically I just look for these silences because I know I've paused between paragraphs. So let's see if that's close to where I want to be. Children today, I just happened to find the exact spot. You may have to do some searching whenever you're looking for your own videos to edit this way. But what I want to do is I want to take this area of my audio and actually put it over in the midst of this area of the track. So first, let me check, because at the very end I've probably got some audio I don't even want to include. Let's see. Okay, I'll stop. Right, this is just like that other video. I've got some extra audio here going on, and I don't want to include that, so I'm going to again do what I just did a second ago, cut that out. Cut out all my extraneous pieces. And now, this is the area. Children today still, this little area right here, beginning at about 2012 and extending the rest of the way through is the area I want to move into a different spot. Now, the way I would personally do this is I would place my head at the area that I want to begin that exchange. And rather than using cut, I would use this split tool. So I'm going to split my track into two pieces here. I hit split. At that point I've got this track and I've got this track. Not so much tracks. I've got this file and this file. And I'm going to move this segment, the one that I want to eventually move elsewhere, up to its own track. So I know this is the piece I want to move. Now, I want to move it right after I say, maybe you love to watch Sesame Street with story after story going on. So I look for that in my audio file here, and I may have to do a little searching. To you in class, maybe you love to watch Sesame Street with story after story going on. Right there is where I want to start with my the last portion that I recorded. So here I still have one file sitting here. I'm going to click in to select it, have my head at that point that I want to divide this, and again I'm going to hit split. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this piece of the file, I'm going to drag it over, I'm going to pick up the piece I want to move into that area, drop it down, and join all the pieces up again like this. So that now when I start, let's start at this point and play. Maybe you love to watch Sesame Street with story after story going on. Children today still love stories, and in fact they need stories. How can we help our children? You can see now things actually are flowing really smoothly. There's not any burps or anything going on, and it sounds as though I recorded this middle piece in the middle when I really recorded it at the end. I hope that this helps you when you're doing your recordings and having to edit them and maybe reposition things. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.